So what I love about gold here is that it's behaving just like a breakout should, right? So we've talked about this, and I talked about back in December, January, February, how gold was consolidating. It was making this beautiful bullish consolidation pattern.
Walk us through the price movements we saw during this past year. And, we could look at the year to date performance of Bitcoin, of gold. And just for the folks at home, want to remind everyone that Gareth was forecasting gold to be one of the best performing assets this year, outperforming Bitcoin and the S&P. So we're going to find out if he's still sticking to that. But first, where do we want to start? Bitcoin look back, gold look back. Your thoughts?
Oh my goodness. Let's start with gold actually. Let's
All
get
right,
into the gold chart and kind of just
let's
take
do
a
it.
look at what gold has done recently. So what I love about gold here is that it's behaving just like a breakout should, right? So we've talked about this, and I talked about back in December, January, February, how gold was consolidating. It was making this beautiful bullish consolidation pattern. Everyone said it was done. That's exactly as an investor what you want to hear. You want to hear people kind of writing something off, and then that's when you're looking to buy it, especially when you see this sideways action. This sideways action is very representative of accumulation. All right, when you have a big move up like it had and then all this sideways action, that's telling you smart money is accumulating. The breakout occurred right here. It jumped to a beautiful double top. You can see the double
Mhm.
top with the 2020 high, and now it's pulling back, which is exactly what breakouts do. They retrace to home base. Think of it like a kid going off to college. They always come back for Thanksgiving dinner to the parents' house. That's what gold is doing here, right? So look for it to come into a little bit more, and then the next leg up is going to take place. And I still have a forecast on gold with the potential of easily close to 2,500 by year end is definitely a possibility.
Okay, and I guess I'll ask you that question now. Will it still be the best performing asset, in your opinion?
Yes, it will. It will. When you look at everything going on, gold is in the sweet spot now. You have the inflation issue, which is not going away anytime soon. You have the Fed creating instability, potentially a recession. So that means earnings growth is going to stall out in a lot of companies. We're already seeing that with some of the drops in names like Netflix, and even Google just in the last day or so. So that is going to hamper the market. Then you also have the kind of the suction of money that the Fed is removing from the markets, from the economy due to interest rate hikes. That's going to keep pressure on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And let's not forget that Bitcoin is trading lockstep with the Nasdaq 100. So if the Nasdaq 100, if the markets are going to go lower, Bitcoin will go lower. Gold is in that sweet spot. It's such an amazing opportunity here for gold. Look back at the 1970s. It's picture perfect a replication, and again, a lot more upside on gold.
Wow. So what do you say to the folks? Well, Gareth, 10 years ago, gold was around that same price. It hasn't done anything in 10 years. It's dead money. What do you say? What do you tell those people?
Two things. Number one, we have never seen instability in terms of the Fed trying to catch up in the last 10 years, with interest rates and potentially forcing the market into a recession and unable to print money. And number two, we've never seen in the last 10, let alone 20 years, inflation at 8.5%, maybe even more than that. So this is a whole different ball game. In fact, that goes into Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin has never experienced this period in its lifetime, and
That's
that's
right.
one of the reasons why it could be very, very hard for it to deal with.
And that was one of the main points that Frank Juster kept hammering home in that debate, is that it truly hasn't been tested. So let's pull up that Bitcoin chart now, if you don't mind. Let's see how Bitcoin did.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Bitcoin is definitely from the beginning of the year. Bitcoin is down. Bitcoin opened the year around 48,000. It's currently trading just below, well, right above 39,000. So it is down this year. And the biggest concern for me continues to be the bear flag that is forming. So if we look at a simple chart of Bitcoin and we look at the big move down from the November highs here, and then this is all inside bar. I mean, look at the amazing, these lines, by the way, they're 100% parallel between this one up here and the one below. And this Bitcoin chart is just working its magic in here, going sideways. And this pattern, again, if you look at 100 of these, 1,000 of these patterns, 80% approximately of these patterns will break lower. So again, there's no guarantees. It could always surprise us all. But considering the headwinds of the Fed hiking rates with inflation where it is
Yeah.
and everything else, you have to think the likely trajectory is to the downside over the next 3 to 6 months.
And are you sticking to your call that you could see it head down to 20,000?
Yes, I am, and to be honest, I want to be clear. 20,000 is kind of my high end. I do think it could go below that. If you look at this chart pattern here, it is picture perfect of Amazon in the 99, 2000 into 2001 .com bubble. If you look at how people talk about cryptocurrency or have talked about it, it's exactly how they were talking about the internet back in the late 90s
Yeah.
with the .coms. So again, you have the same replication of the pattern on the charts. You have the same replication of the thought process and the excitement. And in other words, you need a flush out. And in my opinion, this is not a flush out. We still have 19,000 now cryptocurrencies out there. That's way too many to even have a healthy market. You need to see a lot of those cryptocurrencies, and I'm talking like 90%, if not more, go out of business. And then the best of breed can rise again. But in that period of going out of business of a lot of the smaller ones, Bitcoin will have to take a hit. Just naturally, people will get very, very fearful.
I don't want to